What up, y'all? What up, y'all? Tone Space. Like, share, subscribe in case I forget to say it at the end. Now, what you guys see at the top of the screen on my Summer Jam screen up there is a gentleman by the name of Chris Darden, right? He is now the attorney representative of Eric Holder, a.k.a. Fly Mac, a.k.a. Shitty Cuz, who is the alleged shooter of rapper and philanthropist Nipsey Hussle. I'm going to read something from Complex. It says, Chris Darden, a lawyer widely known for being one of the prosecutors during the 95 O.J. Simpson trial, agreed to represent Eric Holder, 29-year-old man accused of fatally shooting rapper and philanthropist Nipsey Hussle. Holder's alleged involvement in the murder of such a beloved member of the hip-hop community warrants courtroom publicity on its own. However, with Chris Darden representing the defendant, the trial will likely be heavily scrutinized. During an arraignment hearing Thursday, Darden entered a not guilty plea on his client's behalf for charges of murder, attempted murder, and possession of a firearm by a felon. As the judge sets Holder's bail at $5 million, the defendant nervously surveyed the courtroom while the highly publicized trial was underway. Now, I have to give my credit to Brother Polite for, I was watching his video, and a lot of what I'm going to say is going to be a summarized extract from watching his video, but he made a lot of sense. But also, along the lines of just being a real, genuine person, just by virtue of me bringing up Polite as the source, I still got to be real, because I also am highly scrutinize Brother Polite. It is my opinion that I think Polite is a scam artist. And I've come to this conclusion from various claims from different people saying that he done got them, this and that, both from people I know on a personal level to receipts and stuff of that caliber that I've seen on like a more broad level from various different people. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way I could just bring them out without just keeping it real and saying that. However, and this is a good reason why I say a lot of times we have to remove our personal emotions from things. Because, yes, sure, I believe Polite is a scam artist that's ripping off the black community. However, at the same time, he is still a very intelligent man. He's intelligent enough to have been able to pull off wool over everyone's eyes and pull off such elaborate scams and, be at the level where he is. So on a moral level, I give him a thumbs down. On just a brilliant, cold calculating level, he gets a thumbs up. And sometimes you just got to remove your emotions from it. At first, I didn't want to watch his video due to how I personally feel about him, that I personally believe that he is a rip-off artist. However, I said, wait a minute, this is still a brilliant man. So let me hear what he has to say. And he made a whole lot of sense, right? The main point that he brought up that I'm telling you guys is that, yes, this man whose nickname is Shitty Cuz, a Crip, or a former Crip, depending on if his snitching, gave him the adios from the gang or whatever. But basically, some just low scumbag or whatever was able to get such a high-profile attorney. This man, Chris Darden, as I just read, he was on the prosecutor side in the O.J. Simpson's trial. Now, I've been looking at videos, reading through comments of other people that this raised a red flag with, and a lot of people were saying, well, you know what, maybe the dude is the term of the last couple years, clout chasing. I can't stand that term, but for lack of better words, clout chasing. He may have fell off. This Chris Darden guy, he's just, maybe looking for that bag, another popular term, trying to get his props up and everything. So this is a high profile situation. Nipsey Hussle being a pillar of the community, high profile black man. So people are saying that he probably took it pro bono just for, the notoriety that it will have. Now, Polite brought this up, and I got to totally agree. Like, there are several things in this world, especially related to black activism and, just urban community and just high-profile cases, as a whole. There's so many other things that he could have pro bono taken the defense of. Why would this man, Chris Darden, think that he is going to be, get some positive notoriety out of representing some 29-year-old scumbag that did like the worst example of some just hating scum of the earth shit ever, and then to be on his side to try to get the man off? Like, the shit doesn't make any sense. If anything, that is a hindrance to this man, to this former O.J. Simpson prosecutor, Chris Darden. You know what I'm saying? So basically what this comes around to is the plausibility that there is a conspiracy at hand. And I do have to agree. You might have seen my last video as I broke down the chain of events that I put together from watching different stuff. And you know, it seemed like it was very cut and dry. Like a hater, they exchanged some words. Dude had nothing to live for. He had his thing on him. And, you know, he just did that vile, disgusting act of killing Nipsey Hussle. However, this is a huge, as some people like to say, red flag. Chris Darden is representing him. Now, for all we know, this Eric Holder person could have some bread, or his family could have some bread. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, just most likely with all the situations at hand, that shit is like very, very unlikely. This man came to Nipsey Hussle, according to the narrative of what happened, on some desperation shit. Some say he was trying to holler at him about, you know, getting on some hip hop shit. Others say that he just came on some other shit or whatever. But all signs point to this motherfucker being fundamentally broke, right? Fundamentally broke. And all signs point to Chris Darden being an intelligent individual if he was a high-profile prosecutor against OJ. And as an intelligent individual, that would also point all signs to this man knowing better than to want to take this case pro bono and see anything positive from that. This would be a huge damper on this man for him to just take that case pro bono. So signs point to Eric Holder being too broke to afford him. Signs point to attorney Chris Darden having to, you know, not taking the case pro bono. You know what I'm saying? Because that would just be ridiculous or whatever. He's already getting a whole bunch of scrutiny. So it's like simple math. So what's left? What's left is a question mark. The variable X. How do we solve variable X? And that variable X is why and how does this man, Eric Holder, have high-profile attorney Chris Darden? Eric Holder might as well have had fucking Eric Holder as his attorney. You know what I'm saying? Obama's what is it, chief attorney general or something like that, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That seems more likely. Maybe that motherfucker would have took the case because they got the same name. Who knows, right? So, all right. So we got to ask, why and how does this man have Chris Darden as his defense attorney? Also, I'm surprised that any bail was issued at all, and he has a $5 million bail. Offhand, people would say that, nah, he probably can't afford that. But shit, Chris Darden might cost like a similarable amount of $5 million or more, or, you know what I'm saying, comparable numbers. So shit, you got this lawyer, who knows, this motherfucker might make bail on some dumb shit. So variable X, how do we solve that? And what that does, that brings a plausibility to a conspiracy. I'm just gonna say it like that is a huge red flag. Another red flag that Brother Polite pointed out was the getaway driver, the woman that drove this man away, Eric Holder, away after he allegedly shot Nipsey Hussle. She is not incarcerated. She is not in custody. I believe she was able to explain her way out of it. Oh, I didn't know he was gonna shoot him. Okay, have a nice day. Type shit. You know what I'm saying? If anyone knows any more information on that, please leave it below. That part I didn't look at, you know, in detail, the release of the supposed getaway driver. So if anyone has information, please feel free to share that. But if that is as cut and dry as people were saying it was, that they just let her go, then that's a red flag as well. And actually, if you watch my last video, when I showed or when I put together this Eric Holder guy having had an interaction with Nipsey Hussle, dapped up or whatever, and then minutes later, or probably within that same minute, he went and shot him. That actually was a red flag in itself, because remember, a lot of people were thinking the way it went down before was this dude, Shitty Cuz, whatever, this asshole went, he met with Nipsey, they exchanged words, and then a lot of people thought that this man left, and in between that time is when Nipsey put out that tweet about having strong enemies as a blessing. And then sometime after that, this man came back on some heated shit and then shot him, which would leave open time for him to get a gun and, you know, to really get in his feelings and all of that. But no, think about it. If this Eric Holder engaged Nipsey and they had their exchange of words, but he already had that gun on him. And as a lot of people are saying, Nipsey Hussle was not aggressive or rude to the man. You know, a lot of people saying they even dapped up. And then this dude shot him. That tells you the mission of Eric Holder shooting Nipsey Hussle. It was already on the agenda. Not to say that under any circumstance would he have shot him, but look, that's way different than if this man just got in his feelings, went, got a gun, and on some fit of rage shit came back and started clapping. No, if he rolled up there with the gun, and after a couple minutes of words, then he started clapping him, that brings up the plausibility more of a conspiracy as well, to be honest with you, because that tells you that this man had on his agenda shooting Nipsey Hussle. Now, had their conversation went a little better or something, maybe that wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? But that is actually a red flag in itself. So we have that. We have this broke motherfucker having Chris Darden as his lawyer, as his attorney. We have the getaway driver being released. You know what I'm saying? And also, let's examine. Chris Darden was on the side of the prosecutors against a high-profile black man in O.J. Simpson. Now he is representing Eric Holder, representing the side on possibly getting Eric Holder off. And what did Eric Holder allegedly do? He shot a high-profile black man. So it kind of already fits a pattern. Chris Darden was against a high-profile black man. Now Chris Darden is representing someone that killed a high-profile black man. You know what I'm saying? So it is something to think about. It is something to question. And I always say that theorizing conspiracies are healthy. The key is just to not OD and just to not get like just utterly ridiculous with it, and to do it kind of tactfully. Like, let's say, you know, you're not going to just hit up the family members, the brother of Nipsey and this person and that person. Yo, it's a conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? None of that. None of that. You know what I'm saying? You entertain or you examine a situation, and you make sure you're a thinker and you consider possibilities, but you got to do it tactfully. You don't want to, brush up against people that's really close to the situation, that's real sensitive to it, where they're like, yo, that shit is some bogus shit. You don't want to do it. So it's about being tactfully. It's really like a middle ground thing. You don't want to just like write off conspiracies as kooky and crazy altogether, and then you miss something and the wool's put over your eyes. At the same time, you don't want to OD on it where you literally do look like a maniac, or at the very least, irritate or upset people that are close to the situation. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what is a conspiracy theory? One thing we got to stop doing is considering conspiracy theory a bad word. That's what our world has redefined the term as, but it's not a bad word at all. It's not a kooky term. Conspiracies, I don't have the definition up, but just off the cuff, a conspiracy is like a group of individuals that clandestinely or secretly do something. You know what I'm saying? That conspire, or they get together with the plan of doing something that's kind of like secret, that is not to be known about or whatever, and then they pull it off. That's a conspiracy. Conspiracies do happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? What's a theory? A theory is questioning or considering that something is a possibility. So all a conspiracy theory is considering the possibility of a group of people or some secret shit going on that they're doing that they're not telling us. That's all it is. It's not a bad word at all. You know what I'm saying? So I think conspiracy theories are healthy. Like I said, it's all about the balance of how you convey it and go about it. There's been conspiracy theories now going as far as to question whether Nipsey Hussle even got shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? And to be quite honest, I say, yo, think that. Go for it. Look for cues that you may feel show something contrary to that. Absolutely. Don't just run with the shit. But if you see something that looked funny, like I was watching something a couple minutes ago, someone said Nipsey had Jordans in one pic, and when he was on the ground he had Pumas. I don't know. Who knows? He's right by a sneaker store. He could have changed up his shoes from his own store. Who knows? But still, it's still healthy to look at these things. What is unhealthy is to just take some shit or run with it and go down the rabbit hole, within a really obsessive type of energy. You don't want to do that. You want to be cold, and you want to be calculating, and you want to be logical. That's why I have to give Brother Polite his props, and that's why I said I'm going to see what Polite has to say about this man, because I do believe Polite is a highly intelligent individual. You know what I'm saying? He was highly intelligent enough to rip a bunch of motherfuckers off, allegedly. That's my opinion. If I'm wrong, I do apologize. But he also brings, some great information health-wise, from research, history, and everything. So he brings information. You know what I'm saying? It's just that I just think morally he is corrupted. I wouldn't look too Polite on, in a matter that involves like being just and righteous and moral, but in something that requires logic and processing and something of this caliber, examining things all day, I'll give it to Polite. So kudos to Polite for being on the right side of trying to find out what's going on and what happened with this black man, and questioning and examining things and bringing about all these things. So straight like that, forget all the scam and shit. Salute to that brother for doing that. So how did this man have this lawyer Chris Darden? You know what I'm saying? Leave your thoughts and stuff below. Any other information, especially if you know more about the getaway driver situation, because I just read that in a blurb. I didn't really look into that. But yeah, please share your opinions. You know what I'm saying? And stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Stay thinking. Don't let people say you just kooky, conspiracy, this, that, the third. If you see something that's funny style, look into it. But again, do it tactfully. Don't bombard people, and don't do it in a way that's gonna really upset people that are very sensitive to the situation. You know what I'm saying? All right.